Hey y'all, what's good? So it's what day is it? It's Tuesday. I just got off from work. It's like 10:30 at night, something like that. I came home. The kids were really happy that I got off early, and took my shower and cleaned up the kitchen. And Judah came home, and I talked to him for a little while. But I just wanted to check in and give you guys an update on our housing situation. So there's this woman that I've been talking to for a few weeks that has a management company. I'm pretty sure it's her and her daughter. When I first called, I explained my situation with my eviction and why I have an eviction on my record. And she was the first person out of about 17 management companies that was willing to hear my side of the story. At the time, the apartment wasn't ready. And so 2 weeks later, I reached out to her again, and the apartment still wasn't ready, but I had procured a letter from the management company that gave me the eviction during that 2 weeks, and I submitted that to her, and I was just like, listen, you're the only person that's responding back to me, and we're running out of time to find a new place. So, long story short, we visited the apartment on Zoom, via Zoom. We had a walkthrough, and it's actually really nice. It's a lot nicer than I expected. It's old. The building's from the early 1800s, but it's actually perfect for us. The lighting, it's got a balcony. We can grow plants, just all types of stuff. So we went ahead, and we're waiting to hear back. We'll hear back in the next 48 hours, but I spent most of my day in meetings, very important meetings, actually. And usually I would call out when I have very emotionally or physically draining activities before work, but I didn't do that today. I stuck to the plan because that's the one thing I can control. I can control my income. I can control my consistency with things like content, keeping up with my personal studies, spending time with the kids. These are things that I can control. I can't control whether this lady decides what to rent to me. I pulled out all the stops. I was very honest with her. I explained to her that I have my own business, that I was building a legacy, basically, and that she was investing in the future of my family, basically, and that I had made some wrong turns in my past, but that I am the most stable and the most responsible I've ever been in my life now. And I can't do anything other than that. I've utilized all of the tools that I have to manage my anxiety, to manage my self-doubt. And I really called on my ancestors and on the Bible verses that I read this week about not worrying. I called on, I know I did a short called What Are the Odds? I recommend, because when I put out media, Instagram posts or make videos, it's really for myself. It helps in two ways. It helps me, and it also helps others. It helps me to remember the lessons that I've learned. I can just go back and be like, yeah. So I referenced that short about what are the odds, and I'm like asking myself, what are the odds? Like, the odds are in your favor, The subconscious is full of all your past mistakes and everything that's happened in the past. So that's why a lot of times your mind jumps to the first thing your mind jumps to is that your situation is not going to work out in your favor. And I'm studying to be an actual alchemist, and I'm going to turn one mind state into another. And that's what I did. I used the first hour or two that I was at work pulling out all of my tools that I had learned, and it worked. I don't want to make decisions or live my life in a place of fear. When all of this first happened, and I don't know if you watched any of the other videos, I live in a housing development. I have a housing voucher because one of my children have a mental health disorder, which makes them disabled, which qualified us. We moved from our apartment into these townhomes, but right before I signed the lease, my kids got a death benefit because their father killed himself, died, whatever. And so that puts us over income for this program. So we have to find a new place to stay. which is crazy because I didn't want to move here because I thought something like this was going to happen. Low key, I already knew this was going to happen. I had a feeling that this was just too good to be true, but it's just like a trap. I don't know. Public housing is low key like a trap, but whatever. So that's where we are right now. And when this first happened, I was so consumed by fear, honestly, fear of my family being displaced, because who the fuck, first of all, wants to be displaced? But second of all, I'm concerned about my family not being together. I don't know if you watched those videos, but my family and I were separated for 8 years because I was a raging drug addict for 20 years. And for 8 of those, I lost custody of my kids. I went to rehab and got my kids back, and we were fine for 2-3 years, and then I moved into this housing situation, and now this is where we are. So this whole process has been about me conquering my self-doubt and facing my issues head on and finding solutions, because faith is not for the faint. You feel me? Like, you can't just say that you have faith and that you trust in God and that you believe in yourself, and then every time something doesn't go your way, you all, feel fearful. Like, that's just not the energy I want to have. Like, I'm not soft. I'm willing to face this. I just don't want my kids to suffer for, my ignorance. So moving forward, we're waiting to hear back, but we're waiting with a hopeful heart. And regardless of what happens, we keep pushing forward. I'm not willing to fall back into depression or self-doubt because things don't go my way. I trust in me, I trust in God, and I'm choosing to trust the process. So I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for coming to my channel. I want to say thank you for everyone that liked and shared and subscribed. That's really, really dope. Each one of you means something to me, I appreciate you taking the time to get to know me and allowing me to share my process with you. This is my path to mastery. I want to be able to tell my own story. For too long, people have tried to speak on my life, look at my life, and say, you have no say here. I want to document my own story, and that's what this is. That's what this is about. And so it means very much to me that you are here sharing this journey with me. So peace and blessings to you, and I'll holler at you soon, yo.